Very lucky to have Joakim from Sabaton on the line with me right now. Joakim, thanks for joining me tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, we'll get stuck into some brief history here. Now, you're the only constant member of the band, but the lineups over the years have been relatively stable for long periods of time. At any one time, how's that? How have you viewed that?
Well, actually, it's been the bass player Pat has been with us for the whole. He was actually in the band before I joined back in '99. So there's two of us actually left. But as you said, yeah, we've had periods of very much stable lineups, especially from '99 until 2012, which is a very long time. The only thing that happened from late '99 until basically early 2012 was that we added a member, a keyboard player. At that time. And I mean, I started in the band as a keyboard player, and they just told me sing until we find a singer. And the lazy bastards, found a keyboarder instead. So I was only supposed to be the keyboarder, but I wrote songs, and they said, well, you sing until we find a singer so we know where we are and we can hear the melody you had in mind. Okay, all of a sudden in 2006 or something like that, yeah, we got a keyboarder. No. I'm the keyboarder. No, you're the singer. What the fuck? So that's basically how it ended up. And then, as you progress, I mean, obviously, when you are a teenager loving heavy metal, as most of us have been, you want to be a heavy metal musician touring full-time at any price. On the other hand, when you're around 30 or in your late 20s or early 30s, you are married, getting married, having kids, or getting kids. All of a sudden, and especially back in those days when you're not really making a living out of it. So you have to, try and go home, make money to afford to tour, or the other way around. At that point, this life doesn't really live up to its reputation. The myth of the touring rock musician is more appealing than the reality. There is no such thing as glamour. And I mean, to be fair, everybody who's ever been in Sabaton, I think, really liked doing it and doing it with Sabaton. But for, as it turns out, most people doing 160 shows in 12 months, that means being away a lot. And that life for sure isn't for everyone. So, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with them. There's just something wrong with me and Pat who actually enjoy keep doing it.
Now, you mentioned 2012. There was a big sort of split into two bands, if you like, in 2012. How did that affect you personally?
Well, it was very, very rough, both for me and Pat. I mean, obviously, we're sitting there with only him and me left, and it's not like we ever hated each other, or there were fist fights. We're just talking about, we're making the album Carolus Rex, and we're talking about the future. And it turns out that what everyone else had in mind was a totally different vision from me and Pat. Most of the other guys were like, yeah, let's do this album. It's going to be great. And then we go and do a little bit of touring, and then we can go home to, family, or then we can go back to our careers. And we thought, well, it's now we have the chance. So we talked about, touring, how much are you envisioning doing? And our visions of what a lot of touring and how much we wanted to do was so different that, I mean, obviously I guess it's always been the same, but we were so focused on getting bigger and getting there that didn't crystallize until we were actually there. And we were talking about a tour of 80 shows, and they thought that's the absolute maximum. No, it's too much actually. And me and Pat thought, well, that's not enough actually. If you want to do this as, full-time musicians touring, and that will be our only job. And then the other camp, it sounds like we're enemies, but we're not. I mean, the other opinion in the band was, well, maybe that's not what we want to do. Oscar, for example, he said, I'm fed up. I don't know if I want to play. Obviously, he went on to the band Civil War, and he was with them for a year or so on an album. And then he has quit. He doesn't want to play music anymore. He has said, it feels, I'm done, So when that crystallized in itself, we basically realized that, well, maybe we shouldn't do this together anymore, because then we'll end up hating each other instead. So we decided to go different ways.
Yeah, okay. Did it feel a bit weird when that album came out after that had happened?
Well, to be honest, that period of my life was probably the weirdest one in my adult life, actually,
Yeah, okay.
because I somehow felt I did the right thing, but at the same time, I felt like a traitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
okay.
didn't feel right at the moment, and of course it was scary. We didn't know if are people gonna like the new Sabaton, are people gonna accept it with so many new members. But luckily enough, we got worthy replacements. Obviously, us Sabaton 2012 was a established, decently sized at least metal band. So for us to get good musicians and good people wasn't really as hard because we could obviously offer more than we could when we started in 1999. And we were not the best musicians in town, you know. We were, the guys who were like the same music. We like to listen to Judas Priest, Painkiller, and drink beer, basically. And yeah, we want to start a band. And everybody was, could play their instrument, but nobody was brilliant of us. So actually now, when we reformed the band, getting better musicians was not a problem.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I say this with love and respect to everybody who's ever been in the band, but there is really no doubt that Chris, the guitar player who's in the band now, came in 2012, is a better guitar player than everyone who was playing guitar in Sabaton before him. And Hannes is a better drummer than everyone. But, that doesn't mean that I disrespect anyone else who's ever been in the band, because it wouldn't be possible without them.
Yeah, that's...
So, but, I mean, obviously, coming from that, getting top-notch musicians into the band, where all of a sudden me and Per are the lousy ones, like, oh shit, we got to catch up now, man. That helps, Sabaton sounded after rehearsals. I mean, it took a lot of rehearsals for sure and preparation, but after a very short time, Sabaton sounded even tighter, even better musically. That sure as hell helped.
Now, we had Soundwave Festival here in Australia, but that's been gone for a couple of years now. Now, soon the Download Festival is coming here to Australia, initially just in Melbourne, but we're hoping it will travel. What was it like to be invited down here to be a part of that?
Well, I'm really looking forward to it because obviously, as you said, Soundwave, that's the festival we wanted to play many years back, when we heard about it. Every country has its festival that, when you're younger, you wanna play, when you start playing music. Obviously, Wacken being one in Europe, or in Germany especially. Soundwave was the one we heard about. That's the one you want to do in Australia.
Have you toured Australia before?
Well, not toured really. We were there with Nightwish in 2013, so this will be our second coming, and it's been looking forward to coming back. And we only did the Sydney,
yeah,
and Melbourne, and we did 2 shows with Nightwish in Melbourne, I believe.
That's
and
right.
Then we had a short break, so we actually took a drive. Some of us in the band, we stayed in Australia, and we drove the Great Ocean Road from Melbourne to Adelaide. Actually,
Excellent.
I have a friend who lives there. So I spent a few days there drinking, and then Nightwish came with the show. So we went there and had beers instead of playing, which was nice.
Ah, you were there. I was there.
Yeah. So we went to the same show.
Unreal. Okay, so you're playing the Download Festival, which was Saturday, 24th of March in Melbourne at Flemington Racecourse, I believe. Are you doing any side shows?
Yes, we will be jumping in with our Swedish brothers Amon Amarth to do a couple of shows. I think there's 2 more, I believe. I'm not sure. I guess they're announced, but I'm not sure if the complete line is announced yet.
Oh.
But there will be more shows for sure. Hopefully we can squeeze in a few extra.
Excellent. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. What's the funniest thing to happen to Sabaton on tour?
Oh man, there's too many. You're asking me,
Pick one.
Well, there's, yeah, thanks. I can't see the forest because of the trees, Well, there's so many stupid things. Well, let's have one example. It's maybe not my proudest moment, but this is back in 2013, summer festivals. We're playing in Czech Republic that day, and my mom is Czech. So she would. She was already in the Czech Republic visiting relatives and stuff. So she came to the festival, and well, she was on stage, sitting. Or no, I didn't know she was on stage. Actually, she was on the festival. I knew that. And well, my pants split. I'm doing a bit of jumping on stage, and kicking, and my pants split open basically. And I ran up to the drummer Snowy Shaw, who was with us then, and he was always in his own world when it came to drumming. Sitting there drumming, and wasn't really interacting that much with the band. So I, waved at him, getting his attention, and pants were split open, in my crotch basically. So I basically, pulled my boxers aside and did the helicopter with my dick to him. And he started laughing. And he was laughing. And I'm like, dude, it's not that funny. What's wrong? And then he takes the drumstick, points it at me, and then points it onto the side of the stage. And yeah, actually, 15 meters away on the side of the stage, there's my... So, yeah, not my best moment.
Joakim from Sabaton, absolutely magnificent talking to you tonight. We look forward to you coming out to Australia and playing the Download Festival soon, and some side shows. We'll keep our eyes open for them. Joakim, thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
Right, thank you, sir. You have a great day and hope to see you on tour.
You too, man. Take care.